Beth, you should shave. Hi.
Not Movember yet.
Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
She's got a bat mustache.
We've hidden Beth behind a
We like to hide her behind things.
Well, I wanted to put these out. I bought these. I saw them on Stitching with the Housewives. Priscilla used them on something, and I said, "Oh, those are so cute." And I was at Michael's where she had purchased them, and I said, "Oh, look, they have some." They had this pair and maybe one or two other legs left. And I went and told the manager, I said, these are mentioned on a very popular YouTube channel. You should watch that channel and see what she's mentioning to make sure you have plenty of product. And he actually wrote it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he said, I noticed everybody just came in and bought them all of a sudden. But I didn't put them in. I didn't put them up because of that. I put them up because yesterday started the WitchyStitchy 2021. Show your little thing.
Yeah.
This is my needle minder from last year.
Yeah.
We'll put a picture here.
Yeah.
WitchyStitchy challenge. It goes from October 1st to October 31st, and stitching 30 minutes a day, and you can miss 4 days. So if you haven't signed up yet, it's embroidery.com's challenge. You go to their website, embroidery.com, and you can click a participate link.
Hooked in here. Oh,
and
sorry, Beth's having a thread problem.
and you just post on their Facebook group. You just post your before work and after work pictures. You would have to start by the 5th and go every single day.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get the needle minder.
Yeah, you're allowed 4 skip days.
Let me see that needle minder.
And
that was last year's. I don't know what this year's is going to look like.
You're allowed 4 skip days, and October 31st is a mandatory.
We had an emergency.
We had a Diet Coke emergency. But yeah, so they're doing the WitchyStitchy. That's what you were talking about.
And
I was starting to say it goes from October 1st to October 31st, and October 31st is a mandatory stitch day. It's Halloween. But you are allowed up to 4 skip days. So if you're getting a late start, you have until the beginning of October to start.
Beginning of October 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few little tricks, challenges, whatever that you can choose to participate in or not. They're on the embroidery.com website.
What are they this year? I didn't read them.
They're things like stitch with something that scares you, or your favorite stitching project that you've done, or I forget what the other one is. Oh, I think what has stitching taught you, basically? What have you learned from stitching, whatever, and things like that.
I've learned from stitching that I can't count.
Your weaknesses. So do you have to do something different every week?
No.
You
can work on the same project all the time, or you can work on a different project every day. It's up to you, as long as you stitch 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But I really like my little ghost that I got last year.
Mm-hmm.
And in February, they had an I Love to Stitch challenge, and I got a little needle minder then, too. Mm-hmm. And I managed to stitch 30 minutes a day from... When did they start that DDD challenge? July? It was 90 days, so it was July through September 30th. And that one wasn't a needle minder. It was just a, can you do it? And I did it.
What's DDD stand for?
Donna's, Danette, whatever her name is.
Daily.
It was, but it was just, that's what it was called. It was her challenge. Can you stitch? This is one of the projects that I worked on last October. I started it, and I didn't pick it up again until April. No, May. I worked on it 2 or 3 days in May.
What is that one?
This is DMC's Black Cat, and it has a whole bunch of Halloween motifs. but there's a lot of half stitches in it, and it's on 18 count Aida. Now, when I started it, I had never stitched on 18 count Aida, because, you know, stitch on something that scares you. I hadn't been doing cross stitch again for very long when I started that challenge, and before that I had only stitched on 14 count. And so I decided 18 count Aida was something I wanted to try. And I have discovered, I bought a big piece and I cut it down, and I have several projects that are on 18 count Aida. I hate 18 count Aida. I mean, with a passion. It's not the size of the holes. It's not, you know, the count. It's that if you have anything like half stitches or anything like that, quarter stitches, whatever, the weave is tight enough that it's really hard to get it in the center. And you're like, trying to get it. And then you finally get the needle poked through, not in one of the 4 holes, right? And it's like off to the side here or whatever. It's not right in the middle. And my stitches are wonky enough that I don't need that. But anyway, I will work on this cat this month at some point. But my concentration, I ended up going first.
That's fine.
My concentration is going to be my
That looks really good.
Sal. It's now that I've straightened out most of my problems. I printed out. This is the final version. The 4th part came in for October 1st, and we'll take a better picture, of course. And I am a little over 2 months behind. A little over a month behind. This month just started, but I'm not going to finish by Halloween, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not as far behind as Beth. So I'm good with that. But I have not felt well at all. I've been having some asthma issues that make me... it makes it hard for me to
breathe.
Well, yeah, breathe, but to stand up and do things, or to think, or to and it's just been ongoing, and it's still going. I took a nebulizer treatment this morning so that I could function. So my sewing machine didn't get used at all this week, even though I kept coming in here and I cut some fabric, and I looked at the fabric, and I cut a little bit more fabric, and I looked at some fabric, and I did some seam ripping on the, but my heart wants to finish this. I was planning to have this finished by today, obviously not, but this is the Halloween bag, the next Halloween bag that I'm working on. And I had hoped to have it done for this weekend. It's cute. This kitty's, and this is the accent fabric. Get a smaller piece of it. That's gonna go like this.
On the bottom of the bag.
Yeah, I can't hold it right.
Beth, don't move. Eve, look at Beth.
What?
Batman.
Sorry. We should probably move that.
Yeah, when she starts talking to Sina. No, I'm kidding.
I just looked over. I'm like, whoa, nice eyes.
So, hopefully by the time you view this, or, I don't know, soon, I will have this put together and up on the Etsy site. And that is me. But speaking of the Etsy site, why don't we let Beth go?
Okay.
Okay.
You gotta move your witch legs.
Yeah, we need to move.
Just need to move it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think it'll stay there.
Excuse me.
You can go ahead and start while she's moving that.
Okay, shall I talk about these?
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of the Etsy site. I haven't put these up yet.
Help
but
me open the bags.
Beth got inspired by my scissor fob making last week. And
So I made a few while I was sitting here the other day.
yeah, so she came in here and made some, since I was just looking at fabric and not actually doing anything. I really, I can't, even now, I'm just like, it's all I can do to just sit up straight here.
So Eve showed some last week that she made using these little jack-o'-lanterns. We'll take a picture so you can see them better. But using the little jack-o'-lantern beads and the candy corn beads and these little ghosts. She did a couple of scissor fobs that are slightly different, use different beads and different things. But I had bought these same jack-o'-lanterns and the candy corn. But I had bought these little spider web. It's a spider on a spider web. These beads. And I had also bought the pumpkin beads. The pumpkin, and there's a ghost, and there's a witch hat, and there's another witch hat, and there's a cauldron. So I just put them together with some other beads that I had, and then this one, the ghost has a couple of the jack-o'-lantern beads, and the pumpkin has some jack-o'-lanterns and candy corns. So this is very much like the one that Eve did, but with the bigger green beads. So anyway, these are little scissor fobs. I made there's 5 of them there. So there's 2 witch hats, a cauldron, a ghost, and a pumpkin.
Cute, like that pumpkin.
Oh,
So we'll take pictures and put them
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
That's fun.
In September, the end of September, I was doing my super ShowstopperSAL and Sal all the kitties. So I worked a little bit more last weekend on Midnight Meow. I started on the last cat. I just have the inside color, and I was looking at the colors that I chose, because like I said, I famously, got rid of the floss for this, and so I just used the floss that came with the kit. It didn't have DMC numbers; it had whatever numbers that Dimensions uses or whatever. So I just sort of eyeballed some DMC colors to match the picture, I guess, and the number that I wrote down for the inside color of this kitty, I'm not sure if that's the color that I'm going to use. I might change. I don't know. I think it's kind of, I don't know if it's the same color as one of these other cats or whatever. I don't know, but maybe not, because I think this outside color that I used is the same color. Anyway, but so I just have the inside color of this cat, and then the moon and the stars, and it'll be done. It's almost done.
And there's back stitching, right?
Yeah, and there's some back stitching. But the regular stitching is almost all done. So, but I was doing this in September, so I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get back to it. And speaking of September, I think I showed, this was almost all the way done, but now I've done all the gray and the whale, and I'm starting on the little spout over here.
That's neat. Wow.
Yeah. So, and I did this little gray line down here is there's a sailboat down here, and so this is the top of the sail.
It's interesting when you see more than one person working on the same pattern, because people, their brains work differently.
What to work on.
Right. And so, you start in the middle, or somebody else starts in the corner, or whatever. Somebody does little motif by motif, and, and you're doing all one color. And so you look at and it's not necessarily that one person is getting done faster or slower or whatever. It's just different.
Yeah.
And with this whale, it really, you can see a lot of the differences because you don't have a whole lot of color, so it doesn't look like it's going to be as colorful as it is. And then when you see one of the other people that's working on it, it's so colorful. You know, the stuff that goes around.
Yeah,
it.
somebody else was working on it, and they've done what her husband called Quilt fit. The fountain of stuff coming out of the whale.
The spout.
Yeah, spout. And so they already finished that, and it's really nice looking. But yeah, so I haven't done any of the motifs that go in those, on his back, those little squares, whatever. So yeah, so that's that. And then also in September, I was working on this and Heaven and Nature Sing. And I had showed last time, I think I had finished the cardinals and the basket, and I was just doing more on this body. And so I just did a little bit more of that. I want to start the other color on his legs. There's a lighter brown color on his legs. And I want to do that because I just want to, sort of define it a little more. But then this WitchyStitchy thing started on the 1st, and so I started working on that. And this is also a Tinymodernist SAL.
This is what I meant by I'm further ahead than her.
This is from, let me get this needle out of the way here, from 2019. I thought it was longer ago than that, but because it's been so long since I started it, and I haven't worked on it. So this is a 4-part. I'm going to stick a picture here because I don't have it, the picture with me. But it was a 4-part SAL, and the interesting thing about this one is that you could do it all in one piece. Or you could do it in 4 separate strips and make them into drums or whatever. And so that was kind of what I was thinking, that I would do the drum finishes. And so there's a chart for the this rectangular piece, and then there's a round piece to go with it chart to go with it that you can use for the top of the drum. So that was ambitiously what I thought. Oh, I'll make drums. So, yeah. So anyway, I started on the first one, and then in the past I've always done Christmas gifts for people or whatever. So like starting around this time of year, I'm always like madly stitching away at Christmas things, and I haven't done that this year. I still have some Christmas type stitches that I might work on, but nothing really huge, I don't think. So I've had just more time to work on other things this year. So anyway, so for WitchyStitchy for October, I went back to this Tinymodernist thing, and this is last time I worked on it, I had done the border, and I had done some of the grass and some of the pumpkins of that one color of each one. They're both made up of more than one color, and I think the color that is not on here, the colors that are not on here are DMC colors, and at one point I had the bobbins in here, I think, and then I took them out to use on other projects. So there's some fancy floss that's used for these other colors, and so the fancy floss is in my little Notions pouch, but not the DMC color, so I have to look those up again. But there's a lot of black in this, and so I've been just working on that. And so last time I worked on this, which was I think in May, not this past, I don't know, but yeah, it was this past May, because I did a Whip Mania, and I did like one day on each of my 20-something whips that I had, 21 whips. And so I worked one day on this, and I stitched the cat and the fence and the tombstones, I think, and one line of this house. So yesterday I built a house, and I'm almost finished. I just have a couple of lines on the
So that's gonna
one
be
here on
your-
the top and one on the bottom.
Your October project.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. And so there's I think a vampire or something over here, and there's some ghosts. And I was thinking about going to Hobby Lobby or Joann's to see if one of them has like I know that DMC makes a glow in the dark
Oh, really?
thread. Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
So I was thinking about that for the ghosts, because I think they're charted in some a DMC color. They're white, I think, or light blue or whatever. I don't know what color, but so I was thinking about looking to see if I could find a glow in the dark thread to use on that, or something like that. So
That's interesting.
yeah, but so I haven't done the little ghost yet or whatever. So yeah, there's that. And there's actually I have
I like this fabric. It's so pretty.
yeah,
Hold it up.
this is fabric that
That's
I
neat.
dyed.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
the fabric that I used earlier this summer for Pumpkin Pile, which is stitching with a housewife's chart. I had originally dyed for this project, but it came out too dark. It was it had the gray part came out very black. So I dyed a new piece of fabric, and it came up with this color. So yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. You can really see the purple and the green in there with it. So yeah.
There's this one fiber dyer from New Mexico that called Quilt Fiber Arts. I've shown her fiber here before, but she has a colorway that's like purple and like lime green and black. And the name of it is Zombie Prom. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the things I forgot, what we were discussing it right before we started the video, was that I had to stitch on this. I had to stitch, because you were talking about dyeing fabric. I dyed this fabric, and I thought I had it darker or dark enough, but the white doesn't show up. So I put, bloodshot eyes to stitch around the white here. And I'm going to have to stitch around the moon. There's a moon here. Can you see
it's
it?
hard to
Yeah,
see.
no, you can't. Well, you know what? You can't see it up close either with, in person. It's like the same color. And so I'm going to stitch around the moon with something. The only other white that's really by itself, there's ghosts, which I can stitch around them. There's darker parts on this fabric, but the new part down here has these little skeletons. Well, they're too skinny to backstitch around.
We were telling her she should maybe do one thread of white and one thread of gray or something to help them stand out.
Because, if it was a pattern that I could have seen the whole thing, I would have said, oh, wait, I better make sure that that's dark enough for all that white.
Yeah.
Where the white's alone. But, just because a pattern has white doesn't mean that it's going to be,
Yeah. Can never tell.
a problem. Yeah, because like the white in this, that was supposed to be in this top part, it was surrounded by gray. It wouldn't have mattered, But anyway. So when you dye your own fabric, sometimes you're like,
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Well, even when you buy fabric, you think it's
Yeah.
going to work, and then you get you put your threads on there and going,
Yeah.
well, maybe not so much. Yeah. So.
We didn't when we were talking about the Etsy shop. We were talking about the sale on there.
Oh yes, I remember last time I mentioned that there was going to be a sale starting
Oh,
October
yes.
My
1st.
needle out.
October 1st through October 31st, 15% off of $35 or more remember, if your final price before taxes is $35, you get free shipping. So it's $35 after the 15% off. But
For the free shipping.
for the free shipping, yeah. But you can get needle minders or something and bump it back up to be $35, and you don't have to pay the whatever it is for the free for the shipping. So that's awesome. So go check things out.
Yeah. Link in the description to our Etsy shop.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the it's a non sequitur because we were speaking about it. Not speaking of it.
Well, let's speak of it now.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
We got our 100 subscriber winner.
Oh, yeah.
Barb Wordsmith. We got her package out on Friday, so that's been mailed out, and they told me at the post office that it should be arriving by Tuesday.
But
So-
now the post office is going to charge you more and go slower on
Yes.
purpose. I was asking my friend the other day. I was like, how does an entity decide to go slower on purpose? How does that work? Anyway,
As if it
but
worked
yes,
slow enough
it's
as it
coming,
is.
Barb. It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh,
So theoretically, you should get it by Tuesday.
yeah. It used to be that with
But
FedEx.
don't hold your breath.
That with FedEx, even if it was like a slower selection, if they said it was going to be there on a certain day, that's when it was there,
Yeah.
right?
Wait. I want to go before you start talking about your stories.
I don't believe
okay.
I don't believe
yeah,
anybody.
I was just talking about. I was just talking about the shipping, but yeah,
I know.
that's right.
Because this is the week of the shipping.
Yes, it is.
So we're
Again,
going to talk about that
again
later.
and again.
Okay? And actually, the end of my segment will go straight into that because. So I'm still working on my knit along, and I finally finished this. I made another mistake down here because I can't read. I was supposed to go rows 1 through 6 and then repeat 3 through 6. But instead, I repeated 1 through 6 here, so I have an extra line. You can probably even see it on camera. I have an extra line of stockinette right here. So, and then I realized, so then I did it right in here, and then it was almost the end of the section, and I said, well, do I put that mistake in again, like I did down here? Where is it? Here. I put the mistake in.
Where she made the same mistake.
Same exact mistake. I didn't read. So I did. I decided last night to go ahead or yesterday to go ahead and put in the extra row. So it's quite symmetrical now. Can you see, Eve? Can you see the difference? Well, so there's this line here.
Yeah.
And then I put it in up here.
Yeah, but it looks intentional. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks fine. It doesn't.
That's
look
my
like a
design
mistake.
element. So, because I can't read. So, and I just moved on to another section, which makes me happy. So I'm still working on that. I'm very far behind. I'm in clue 4, and it's already done. Tons of people are done, and I'm jealous. But
Did you see at Casapinka's Instagram where she walked into an elevator door?
No.
At Knit Stars.
Oh, at the new Knit Star shop?
Yeah, she was exiting the elevator and the elevator door closed.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
And she started laughing.
Oh, man. I love her so much. So, yeah, Knit Stars has a new flagship store in Tulsa. They bought a huge store, had a grand opening, and all the Knit stars went and everything. But in addition to my knitting, I went ahead and started Hannah's quilt. I got all my 4 patches done.
Your desert strumpet quilt.
Yeah. I got all her 4 patches done here. Some of them are a little wonky, but look at my ironing. They're beautiful. And most of my points are pretty good. So, I went through and separated, I had to cut the layer cakes into 5-inch squares. And then I went through and categorized all my colors by how many of each. And I also had to cut all the white ones. And then I went through and picked pairs to go so that I wouldn't have, so I'd make sure to distribute the, the colors, because I'm really neurotic. Is I made sure, like, I didn't have too many greens with reds or greens with browns. I tried to mix it up real well. What? What are you laughing at?
You're funny.
I'm funny?
Yeah.
That's why my quilts look so good. It's because I'm so funny. I'm sorry, but my quilts look great. Because I neurotically plan the color placement. Who are you talking to?
The dog.
Talking to the dog. I neurotically plan my color. See, because I didn't want too many Christmas blocks. Here's it. Merry Christmas. And so I really methodically plan like which colors go with which, and because you just don't want, like, you don't want to be at the bottom of your stack and have 3 blocks that are brown and brown, right? So I neurotically planned it out, and then
I'm gonna do the same thing. I have to make 40 pinwheels.
Oh, look at that!
And I don't want them all the same color.
Right, exactly. So now that I have to re-iron that, but I will later. Now that I did those and got them all ironed and preliminarily trimmed, I was telling Eve I have a really bad edge. I have a really bad edge on this. You can really see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's like almost a 1/4 inch difference right here. But these edges are so it must have been a mistake in the trimming, because these edges are even at the seam lines where I sewed them. Anyway, it always happens. And if nothing else, I can put this block at the edge of the quilt and hide that in the border. And then I started with, I have 15,000 of these to make. So you put one colored square, and see, it doesn't show up as well with this one. Well, it's hard to see because it's the back.
It's to make half.
Yeah. So you put one square of colored fabric and one square of the white facing each other, right sides together, and you stitch all the way around, and then you cut it diagonally this way, and you have 4 half square triangles when you open them up. And so I have to sew all the rest of these, and I have to sew them, cut them, and re-sew them into a star block.
I was telling her.
And then sew 4 of them together to make, so you sew this around the edge, cut it, trim it, put it back together in a 1/4 of a star block, and then you get 4 of those and put them together in a star. So, and then you have to sew it together.
But isn't it amazing? I was telling her, it's amazing to me that you start with a 5-inch square and you sew a 1/4 inch all the way around, so it's no longer 5 inches, and you cut it down and diagonally. And when you sew that back together, you still got to trim it down so that it'll be 5 inches.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that math work?
Yeah.
Voodoo math.
Yeah. Quilt math. Quilt math is hard, actually. So so once I get these cut into half square triangles, so you use one that's all the same color, right? So this would make 1/4 of the star block, and then you put it together with 3 other colors to make the star. So the star is all different colors. So I'm going to have to be neurotic about that. But also 12 of the star blocks go one direction and 16 of the star blocks go the other direction. So I have to decide, this group is going to be the right-hand side and this group is going to be the left-hand side, and make sure that the colors are equal. That's how I made the other one, that nice one that I gave away for the auction for the string quartet.
She makes these
fundraiser.
beautiful quilts that she doesn't keep any of them.
I know. I miss those 2 quilts that I made I made a 100 star, and then I made this crazy 8 quilt, and they're beautiful, and I'm sad about it. But anyway, so this is a lot of sewing plan. So I like this brainless part where I just zoop, 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 and then cutting it all, and then trimming it all. And then I'm going to have to keep them in color groups and sew them together. But I have to decide before I sew them back together which ones are going left and which ones are going right. So right now I'm just mindlessly sewing squares together, and I'll make all those decisions later. But that's what I'm doing. Now, to segue between my segment and the story time, I will tell you, I will do both right now. Because you remember the Casapinka yarn that was coming for, well, not just the Casapinka yarn, my Knit Stars 6, Season 6 yarns were supposed to be coming. Remember, I was waiting for them, and I was like,
They were supposed to be here.
They were supposed to be here last Saturday when we recorded,
Yeah.
between 2 and 4 or something like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I could wait till they come. Good thing I didn't. Because we would have made that recording about 4 days later. Because it didn't come. And then Saturday night, it said, oh, by 7. Like, okay. So we were playing cards, and I kept waiting for it to come, and it never came. And I'm like, it says by 7. And then all of a sudden it said, check back tomorrow for an updated delivery date. And it still said that it was processing in the UPS facility in Tempe, which is what, maybe 5 miles away from my house.
Can I
So
go get it?
So I'm like, it's processing. Because at first I saw it was on the truck, and then it said, no, it's processing. And I'm like, uh-oh. And then check back tomorrow. So Sunday, all day Sunday, no information. All day Monday, no information. Well, Monday, no information. So I called finally called the UPS on Monday, and I said, oh, no, it was Tuesday. Wait, yeah, it was Tuesday that I called, because that was the day that my friend died. My friend Jamie died, the one I made the quilt for. So that was part of my sad week. And so to top it off, I called UPS, and they said, well, it's possible it got sorted wrong because it says that it's in Kansas. And I'm like, it's possible? I'm like, what do you mean it's possible? So I don't think it was supposed to go to Kansas when it was 5 miles from my house. Well, let me check. You have to check? You have to actually go look and see if maybe it got on the wrong truck because now it's in Kansas when it was supposed to be in Arizona, and it was in Arizona, and now it's in Kansas? So he comes back on, he goes, it was indeed sorted incorrectly. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I sat here for 10 minutes while you figured that out, because I could have told you that 10 minutes ago. Anyway, I didn't say that, but I thought it. And I said, look, okay, fine. It got on the wrong plane or whatever. I said, I don't care. But that is $250 worth of unique item that I cannot get another one. I cannot call the company and say, give me a replacement. I said, because it doesn't exist anymore. Because these are limited lots of this yarn, and it's sold out. And, like, there is no replacement. There's no recourse, and I don't really want a refund. I want the freaking yarn. So he's like, well, it says it'll be back today. It's coming back. It'll be back today. And sure enough...
So you're saying with your lips.
Well, the squeaky wheel got the little squeaky wheel that I am got a message right away that said, it's coming on Thursday. And it did indeed come on Thursday. And then on Thursday I got the little track the truck. And I'm like, so I was watching the truck, and at one point, here's my house, and here's a major street, and it was across the street on this major street. And literally just drive down, and you can be at my house. I'm like, okay, it's coming. And then I was doing stuff, and I went back to look at the phone, and it was down here on another major street. I'm like, am I being punked? Like, is this really going to come? But it came.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh. Here's my new bag, which looks a lot like the bag from last year, but I don't care. It says Knit Stars. And I already sent my duplicate yarn off to my new friend in Tennessee. Who purchased it. That's part of the reason I was freaking out. I'm like, this woman already gave me her money, and you guys aren't delivering my yarn, and so I'm going to have to give her money back, and I was feeling bad. But this one, pardon the crinkly, this is Squish Fingering by the Farmer's Daughter in a Jam, Romance, and Bear Gulch.
That's so pretty.
This is going to be a headband that's created by a Native American knitter, her class. I'm really looking forward to her
color
class.
combination.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's beautiful, yeah.
I really like it. And I thought, well, headband is fun. So that's that. Pretty. And I'll probably have a lot of it left over if it's just for a headband. So I can make, I don't know, something. And then this is the long-awaited, coveted
That middle one
Casapinka.
looks like the one I'm using from Hobby
Yeah,
Lobby.
this is Haynesville, Haynes House yarns, and the colors are Memes and Movies is the green. I got Funnies is the blue, and Instant Sing Along is the. It looks a lot like this, don't it? Much more expensive. This is.
But
Hobby Lobby
the blue
yarn.
one looks like. Was it the one I was gonna get or the one I did get?
That's the one like the one you gave me, but it
Oh,
has
yeah.
more. It has more of this green.
It's pretty. It's beautiful.
Now, I'm sorry to Yvonne in Tennessee, but the advantage of getting 2 kits is that I got to pick the one I wanted, and I mean they're beautiful. They're equal, but the green in this kit was much richer than the green
Because
in
they're
the other
hand
one.
dyed.
Yeah, because they're hand dyed. They're all different. So I was like, ooh, I'm gonna pick that one for me. So that's my Casapinka yarn for the shawl she's making, and they're having a second wave of sale. And since I have that extra $100, I think I'll get
Your pug dog money.
my pug dog money. I'll get yarn from.
If you guys don't understand what pug dog money is, go watch an old movie called Life with Father.
Yes, yes,
because there's no way to explain it.
yeah,
You gotta watch the movie.
it's failed logic in math, but it's very funny. So I'm gonna see if I can get another kit. I'm gonna look and see what.
That's like when companies tell you save money by buying this because it's on sale.
Oh yeah. So we were at a store. We were at a clothing store yesterday or the other day. Yesterday? I don't know. My days are all
Yesterday,
bunged up.
Thursday.
It was
So
Thursday.
2 days ago, yeah.
It was 2 days ago, and I bought a shirt. I was going to buy a shirt, and she says, "You know, these are buy one get the other for half off." And the shirt was already $40, and so I was like, "Oh, well, let me go look." And as I'm walking across this little store, I'm like, "Wait a minute, spending $40 on a top is bad enough, but why do I want to spend $60 on 2?" Now, okay, then that means that they're only $30 a piece. Oh yeah. But I'm like, no. I don't want to spend $60. I don't even want to spend $40. So I just walked back to the counter and I said, no, it's okay. I'm just going to get this.
Well,
Yeah,
at the grocery store, they do the the receipt and they say, "Oh, you saved $70." I'm like, it feels like I spent $200.
Well, yeah, at that same store, we were both buying clothes there. But, yeah, when I was going through the checkout, she said, "Oh, these pants are buy one, get the second pair for $20. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. It's like we're already spending enough.
Yeah,
Sorry
I was spending quite a lot because
love
I bought some underwear, stuff like that. Oh, and I have a story about that too.
Oh, yeah.
But shipping.
No, yeah, but...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but so anyway, my shipping nightmare. But look, I made Hannah's pillowcase.
Her Seinfeld.
You made it wrong.
I made it wrong.
You made it wrong.
What did you do?
I made it wrong because,
Oh.
okay, this cuff fabric is directional. Now, see, but I learned something for our pillowcases. This cuff fabric is directional. You see, it's got the Seinfeld words are one way, and he's saying no soup for you. And actually, this is kind of directional also, but the Seinfelds, some things are upside down, so you can kind of think it's not. But if you look at it this way, all the George pictures are going the same direction. See? So I put this correctly, and then I was putting this down, and I was trying in my mind to think, is it directional? Does it matter? Which way is it going to show up? Because it's going to fold over. And I thought, well, okay, on one side it'll be right, on the other side it'll be upside down, because that's the nature of folding something in half, right? Mm-hmm. And so I put it there, and I thought, okay, and I just, in my mind, what I thought would be is that, stupid, that one side, one side of the pillowcase would be right side, and the back, and one side would be upside down. But I didn't think that there would be an inside down. I just wasn't thinking. It was actually, that was the day Jamie died, and I was just doing this for something to do to distract myself. So I wasn't thinking straight, and And so on the inside, it's right side. But I sent my daughter a picture, and I was like, does this bother you? If it bothers you, I'll take it out. She's like, no. Because I would have had to undo the, it's like all the seams inside, and it would have been a nightmare. But she's like, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm like, okay. Good, because I'm not doing
She'll be asleep.
Yeah.
So, as you recall, I wanted to do the jelly roll thing with Fat Quarter Shop, and I decided that my made up triangle wasn't doing me well, and I wanted the one I had ordered to come in. And even though I knew the timeline was going to be tight, I thought, this is before I started feeling really, really bad, of course. I thought, well, I'll just wait. And it was supposed to be...
It hasn't come yet either, has it?
No. Oh. It was supposed to... So finally I look at it, and it was supposed to be here on the 29th. Now, when I'm looking at it, it's the 30th. And I said, well, it didn't get here yesterday. And I looked at where it was. Now, keep in mind, it's shipping from Hamilton, Missouri. It was in Tennessee.
Everything goes, yeah.
The wrong way.
It was trying to get to the lady who bought my yarn.
Maybe, yeah. So...
I meant to tell you, while we were waiting for it, and I just said it was in Kansas, my son goes, who knows, maybe it'll just show up as a sweater. It's been gone so long.
So, I'm like... And then it said, no expected delivery date.
How can you do that?
And I'm like, it was supposed to be here. As it was already, a long time. They sent me a thing saying, oh, it's shipped, and I waited. And so that's when I looked, and, I was like, seriously? So here we are. Now, granted, it's only been a couple more days. Okay, it's the 2nd. I just now looked. It's in Chandler. Now, if Naomi's experience is anything to go by, I should get it next week.
Yeah, because it's only visiting Chandler.
Yeah, it'll be in Kansas.
I said my yarn took a side quest.
It's on the vehicle for delivery.
So you're saying with your lips. My favorite saying.
Yeah.
I can select travel history.
Yeah. The other day I watched the movie Castaway, right? And he works for FedEx, right? Yeah. And he's like, we live and die by the clock, and what if this was, it took this long for this package to get here from wherever he's
Memphis,
from, Memphis, Tennessee, America to Russia, and this, and that's fine for a clock. But what if it was, and he named all these things, fresh blueberries or whatever, and I was like, the FedEx of Castaway no longer exists. Because even if you're not overnighting something, it used to be that if you had a date that it was coming, it was going, especially FedEx, it was going to be there.
FedEx and UPS and USPS, if they told you it was going to be there, not so much post office, but if it was like a special delivery, like
priority mail,
or next day or whatever, it was actually the next day. Like your next day one didn't
My
go.
next day quilt to Jamie didn't get there next day. And I never did fuss over that. I never did.
You didn't go get the...
No, because it actually got to him. If they had lost it or something.
Yeah, but you paid for next day.
I know. I should, but I just, I don't know. I ran out of fire.
I'm sorry. That kind of money, I would be.
Yeah.
You were
still
lucky
on fire.
your yarn didn't end up on a desert island with a castaway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was like, that's not their fault. But so.
So needless to say, I'm not going to get to do the Fat Quarter Shop thing because tomorrow is the deadline.
Oh, man.
I mean, if I get that today, I would have to still trim every single one, then sew it together and take the picture, and I still feel like cuck-a-doodie. So, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But that's okay because I still have the project to do, and I still like the project, and
you'll have the triangle forever. Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that project on the back burner because I have bags to do and all that, and I cut the border strips out for my my quilt, I did a lot of cutting. Well, I didn't feel good because some things I could sit and cut and not have to stand up. I feel okay if I'm not moving around. I had whole periods of time yesterday evening when I felt normal.
Yeah, that's good.
But as soon as I stood up to go do something, I didn't. I'm getting better. So while I wasn't feeling well, and okay, please don't misunderstand. I'm not running around passing colds or anything like that. I can't breathe. That's all it is. And yes, there's a nasty cough. You heard it. But that cough is more a congestion from not being able to breathe. And I went to, I needed a prescription. So I went to get that prescription. I had to get a chest x-ray to make sure I wasn't sick. And when I went there, I found these little snowmen. When I went to get my prescription, I found these little snowmen. They're buttons. At Walmart. So cute snowmen. And they are very cute.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see them.
I don't know what I'm going to put them on, but, I keep buying snowman patterns and stuff like that, and I'm just like, on a bow or something, on a project, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're adorable.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I forgot. I bought some more fabric. Did I tell you? Did I even tell you?
No.
Because I bought those panels, those songbook
Did you see
panels.
that pattern? Did I share it with you?
You did.
Yeah.
You did with the stars.
Uh-huh.
I don't quite like it, but I could modify the idea the way anyway. I debated and finally I found the coordinating. They have coordinating pre-cuts for that songbook stuff, and so I debated because I don't want to do a full-on big old quilt. I just want to do a lap quilt. And so I got the 2.5, the jelly roll. So I think I'm actually literally just going to figure out how to just border them all and put them together. Because I want to use all the hem panels. And there was one, I think it was that one you sent me. I looked it up and it called for 2 of the big panels with the big hem things.
Uh-huh.
Because it used 9 instead of 8. And I'm like, so you buy 2 panels and you only use 1 of the hem panels. Like, that's stupid. So I'm just going to figure it out myself with the little panels and the big ones, and I'll just figure it out. I'll figure something. And I'm like, oh, I didn't buy border fabric, and oops. But I thought, no, I'll just border it in a 2.5-inch strip and bind it and just let it be like that. Let it be small.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's on its way somewhere. And I was like, I bought yarn. I said to my husband. I bought fabric. I just did. Okay.
Well, it's like somebody was talking about how they had a bunch of needle minders. A lot of them from, I guess, Caterpillar cross stitch. I can't speak. Oh, I don't have my scissors.
Here, I have some.
I guess. Oh, there they are. Never mind. I do have.
But mine are prettier.
Gee, where'd you get that beautiful scissor fob?
Oh, poor Lawrence. Lawrence is no more.
Oh, your fish.
Lawrence the fish.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
About needle minders from Caterpillar
Oh,
Stitch.
yeah. Somebody said they had a whole bunch of needle minders from several of them from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and that I guess her husband said something about you have a lot of those. How many do you need or something like that, And so we were talking about needle minders, and I was talking about how the ones I made from my cat's tags. Mm-hmm. That somebody had admired it, but so I shared it on there. But this girl had one of those metal boards and had a whole bunch of needle minders, and we were like, yes, I want to collect needle minders. And somebody had a metal board that I think her husband had painted some things on it, I think there was a dog bone or something on there and some various things, but she had a whole bunch. So, yeah. So I was like,
So
you know.
I think I'm traumatized by all of this miscounting on this pattern especially. Because I finished off this thread on the moon. And I counted it and went, that's not right. And I took it out and realized it was right.
Oh no.
So now I'm on the last part to finish off this thread again going, is that right?
Oh no. That's why you bought the pattern that says counting is hard?
Yes.
Yes.
I ordered a pattern when we were at the attic, and they called me that it's in, and I'm like, do I feel well enough to drive all the way over there? Because they're only open on
Fridays and Saturdays.
Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh, really?
And yes.
Yeah,
didn't
they're
know
still
that.
Because of
yeah.
the pandemic, they're still
no.
only open on Friday and Saturday. And next Friday and Saturday, I'm hoping that I feel well enough to go to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other kettle of worms. But if I do, then I can't get it next week either. Because we'll be gone on Friday and Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to wait until the week after that. And they said they'd hold it for me. I told them, I don't know that I'll be able to go anytime soon to get it. But I don't even want to start it yet because I have so many balls in the air right now. But realistically, I can't even think about starting it until the new year because I have quilts I want to make as Christmas presents. I have other things I want to make as Christmas presents. I have patterns that I'm working on, like this one and Until All a Good Night. But I keep thinking about that pattern every time I do something wrong. I was working on Until All a Good Night. And as I was filling in, I had gone through and put the yellow in for the the lights in the windows and the the light in the door. And I realized that the lights over the door and the light in the door were in the wrong spot.
No.
So I took them out. I had to cut the thread because of where it was and all that. And I don't care. I just took it out, right? And I went ahead and put it in where I thought was correct, and put in the door. And
Don't
went
tell
ahead.
me you put the door in wrong.
I put them both in the wrong place.
Oh my gosh. Eve.
Yeah. So now the door and the light are wrong.
Move the house.
Part of me is going.
You
Part of
can't
me.
move that house. It's stuck in the ground.
Part of me is like, can that house be one row longer? Can they all be just one row taller?
Sure, why not?
So I have to look at it and go, what the heck am I doing wrong now?
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Just make quilts. They're not so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made a big mistake.
Well, and I actually it's on the couch. I should go get it. I want to make a quilt for her, and it's making little kitties. Well, they're not little; they're big kitties. But I did a sample, and it's just sewing 5-inch squares together. But one of them, for the ears and the head, you cut it up and sew it back together. And mine didn't come out like the picture because my 1/4-inch seam is not, I think it's bigger than a 1/4-inch. I have a 1/4-inch foot, and I read the instructions as where the 1/4-inch is, and it's not a 1/4-inch.
Really?
It's just slightly more than a 1/4-inch. It's like not an 1/8 of an inch, but maybe a 1/16 of an inch more.
Oh wow.
And for certain things, it matters.
Yeah.
And so the ears, instead of touching like this, they're here. Now, if there was a whole blanket of cats where their ears, instead of being here or here, would I care?
Yeah.
No. But it also meant that in one spot on it, what was supposed to be 5 inches wasn't 5 inches.
Yeah.
And so when it met with another square that was cut at 5 inches, they were not the same size.
Yeah.
And that's where it matters.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm not going to trim a whole bunch of 5-inch squares down because my 1/4 of an inch isn't a 1/4 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to make a ledge or something like that and use that.
They have some kind. I've been looking for it actually, even though I do have a good 1/4 inch. But on my brother, I don't. But they have some kind of tape you can put on.
Well, yeah, that tape is like if you're going to sew, like where you would do a seam, like to know where the middle is. But I could take masking tape and not masking tape, but like that low tack tape that I have for painting, and put it up to where it's making a little ledge. Because that little magnetic thing that I bought, it won't. It only goes up to the foot, so it won't hold it closer in like I need it, and it'll only stick to where there's metal, so I can't put it up closer.
I see.
Because the metal plate, is back where the foot is. So I'm gonna make myself a little ledge, exactly where that 1/4 inch is.
I saw some. It's like a
Diagonal seam tape. That
no. It's like a. I've seen it. I want to say I've seen it on Missouri Star. Demos, but it's some kind of blue and white thing that is put on and I think it has different things so that you're just guiding your fabric along that line. I can't remember
on Just Get It Done Quilts.
Where I've seen it. But.
She describes this. She has all kinds of things like dollar store hacks and all kinds of stuff that I'm like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try just doing the cheap, stacking up the tape. She uses painter's tape, but that low tech tape I have for art should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And she says what's really nice is you can take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. But until the tack stops working, and then you can make a new one. And actually, some of those hacks that she was talking about in the dollar store hacks, I'm like, because there's a binding tool. You guys have probably seen it if you do any kind of quilting. It's a 2.5 inch plastic thing like this with the diagonal pointy thing at one side. And she made one out of...
That's a technical term, diagonal pointy thing.
It is. She made one out of some piece of inexpensive plastic, folder or something like that from the Dollar Tree. I heard that the Dollar Tree store is raising their prices.
Yeah, there's some things are going to be $1.50.
One of the things that I was really interested in, because of the handles here on the bags, I iron this in, and then I just do a seam on top rather than turning it, because I hate turning fabric. And when I'm ironing those, now I'm pretty good at folding over exactly that amount, right? But it's hot.
Yeah.
And you do have to kind of,
I have a hem thing, a iron hem
Yeah.
measuring thing.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
real nice.
Yeah, and
for that.
she said you can make those as long as it's not something that's going to be melted by the thing. She goes, just make those out of something from the dollar store. And I was like,
I remember it being
Yeah.
real cheap though.
yeah.
at Joann's. It's like a Dritz thing, and it's got 3 straight sides and 1 curved, which I use for dressmaking all the time.
And you just fold it and then fold it over?
You just fold it and you can iron right
on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I really like it.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know.
I was gonna say, I was gonna tell a story when we were talking about buying stuff at the store, buying outfits.
The clothes, yeah.
So we went to Lane Bryant's where we went, and I have bought a bunch of stuff because we have a concert coming up on Tuesday, and one of the things I used to always do traditionally when I played in Arkansas was around this time of year when the season was starting in September or so, I would go and buy something, like a new shirt or whatever for the season to wear, because we had to wear like all black. We couldn't wear, especially in the Arkansas Symphony, they had to have at least a 3/4 sleeve, and the length, if you're wearing a skirt, has to be at least below the knee. If you're wearing pants, or a skirt also, you had to have like black hosiery of some sort and black closed-toe shoes, and nothing, like no contrasting trim, no jewelry, no whatever. So it was very strict. So every year I would go in the fall and look for some new top or something like that, just to freshen up my symphony wardrobe, and so that I had a few different choices for hot venues, cold venues, whatever. So anyway, I kind of, when I came out here, I had a few things, but I wasn't real happy with my pants that I had and all that. And so since we have this concert coming up on Tuesday, I thought, I really want to go. It's not a major thing if I can't find anything appropriate, but I really want to buy, some new clothes. So we went to Lane Bryant, and I found pants and a shirt, and I had been wanting to go out there to buy some underwear too. So I bought some underwear, and I bought some bras, and blah blah blah. So I had them all in this bag from Lane Bryant, and I was like, oh, I don't want to hang them up right now.
What does the saying?
I know. El flojo trabaja doble. So
the lazy one works double.
Yes. So I folded up this I folded up this bag, and in my closet, it's technically a cat-free area, but certain places in the closet the cats can get to. So
if you leave the door open.
Yeah. So usually, like if I put something up high or whatever, I try to make it so that the cats can't find it or can't reach it or can't get to it. But I thought I had found a little place to secret this bag away in, and I was and actually the because the Lane Bryant store was very hot, and it was just exhausting, So when I had come back, I was like, I just gotta rest. I don't want to do this right now. So I put the bag in the closet. So I have a little tote bag in there that has like extra embroidery hoops and stuff like that. And my cat Snug, who is the troublemaker, is very regularly pulls that tote bag out, and no matter where I try to hide it from him, he finds it and pulls it out and spills embroidery hoops all over the floor and everything. So he was in the closet fussling around, and I kind of scolded him, get out of there, But then I fell asleep at some point, and when I woke up, I saw something on the floor, from my bed, looking in the closet. I saw something on the floor, and I thought it was that tote bag, and I was like, oh, Snug. And so after a while, I looked at it and I thought, that's not the tote bag. What is that? And I went over there, and it was the underwear that I had bought at Lane Bryant. It was on the floor, and other stuff was on the floor, and the pants and the shirt that I bought were on the floor. I was like, oh my God. And so I took it all out, and it was I was sitting there in my bed, like inspecting everything to make sure there weren't cat holes and pokes and everything, or cat litter or whatever off on the floor. I was like, oh, it was so, so.
And
I
said,
still
"Did you
didn't hang
it
it
up."
I still didn't hang it up. I put them back in the bag. I made sure everything was okay. Put them back in the bag. I was like, okay, I'll do that, because it was like in the middle of the night. I was like, I'll do that tomorrow, or whatever.
Is it hung up yet?
No. So I put it back in the bag, and I stuck it in the closet, and I closed the closet door.
Aren't they going to be wrinkled?
Yeah. I have to take them out eventually, and
Yeah, but
hang
the
them
concert
up.
is what, Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah. Let's have time. It's a few days. But
Well, we
but
better-
yeah. So
We better sign off
there we are.
today, and hopefully
Hopefully we'll be recording from Albuquerque.
yeah.
a few people would not get so sick.
I'm not sick.
I know, but you're
Yeah.
complaining.
Yeah.
So I laughed. my son.
It's not my fault I can't breathe.
So yeah, we're hoping to go to the Balloon Fiesta,
Yeah.
which is going on right now. This
it started
weekend.
today.
Yeah.
It opens. It goes from the first weekend of October to the second weekend, the second Sunday of October, and so there's hundreds of balloons, like 600 balloons or whatever, from all over the world. Well, and I don't know what it's going to look like this year because of the pandemic, but because they had
open
to
now.
cancel it last year. But what?
It's open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the it's going on, but I don't know, like from if balloons are coming from other countries or whatever, how many balloons they have. But
So hopefully we
yeah,
will have photos.
we're
and
hoping
video
to
We're
take some-
we're scouting out stitching shops over there. And
yeah. And our brother is playing one night there, so we're hoping to go and see his band play.
He's
And
in,
yeah, and so anyway, so we're hoping that we're going to be able to take some pictures, some video or whatever from the Balloon Fiesta, and maybe do our update from there in Albuquerque somewhere, and while we're out there.
Never have to
So,
because we'll
yeah.
be there over the weekend. So
Yeah.
if we're there, if we get to go,
Yeah.
so
Trying to be healthy.
I'm well.
Yeah.
I'll just go by myself without you. Me and Eli will just get in the car and take Dad with us.
Yeah. So yeah.
But, yeah. So,
So I'm like,
hopefully,
I don't want to get sick. I want to go to Albuquerque. And it's my birthday too. My birthday's
your
on the
birthday
10th.
isn't a national holiday.
Yes,
Get
it
over
is.
Get over it.
Yes, it is. Because on Monday there's no work.
your birthday holiday is quite out of fashion now.
Yes, I know. It's still even if it's not Columbus Day, it's still Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever. So you still get there's still a federal holiday
Like,
on
I'm
Monday.
an indigenous people.
Yeah, I'm an indigenous. I was born here.
Anyway, well.
No controversy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, but so we're gonna sign off, and we're so
Yeah.
grateful you joined us for our complaining about the shipping industry in America. I'm sorry.
Customer
but
service vortex.
kind
Yeah, and honestly, with our Etsy shop with shipping, we strive to get it out that day or early the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So
after that, we can't.
yeah,
It's out of our hands. Once the
But
post
hopefully it
office
won't
gets
be
hold
too
of it.
bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be too bad. But anyway, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.